going to start with our Taking Positive Steps of Service Award.
Yeah, so our first nominee, we have several here, Sue Meffert. So Cody Enris nominated Sue Meffert, so Sue, stand up. So the Loaded Wrestling Program would like to formally nominate Sue Meffert to the Taking Positive Steps of Service Award in recognition of her unwavering commitment not only to our program, but to all of Lodi athletics. Her dedication, tireless work ethic, and countless sacrifices positively impact hundreds of Lodi student athletes every year. We serve firsthand the time and energy Sue pours into the Lodi Wrestling Program. When you consider that she provides the same level of excellence and attention to detail to every athletic program in our district, the true magnitude of her impact on the Lodi community becomes clear. Due to several weather-related reschedules, the end of our wrestling season became exceptionally demanding, with multiple large-scale home events on consecutive days. On Thursday, January 29th, we hosted a double duel against Beaver Dam in Oregon. The following Friday, January 30th, we hosted our first ever JV tournament combined with our girls' varsity tournament. Then on Saturday, we concluded the stretch with our annual Terry Conklin duels. 3 consecutive days, 3 major events. Sue played a critical role in the success of all of them. Long before the first whistle blew, Sue was collaborating with our program to ensure every detail was accounted for. She was proactive in her planning, solution-oriented when challenges arose, and fully present through each event. Whether troubleshooting unexpected issues, coordinating logistics, or welcoming visiting schools, she represented Lodi with professionalism in class. 1 week later, on February 6th, Sue helped oversee the first ever Capital Conference tournament held on Friday night. With 10 schools and 20 varsity teams competing, it was packed and an energetic environment. The event ran efficiently and effectively, and multiple coaches praised Lodi for the organization and atmosphere. Sue was central to that success. Simply put, it would not have been possible without her leadership. As we prepared to host one of the most competitive team sections in the state on February 21st, Sue identified ways to improve upon previous events and ensured Lodi remained a premier host site. Her commitment to excellence does not end when an event concludes. She is constantly looking ahead to make sure the next one's even better. Sue consistently goes above and beyond the call of duty. The countless hours she invests behind the scenes often go unnoticed, but the results are visible in every well-run event and every positive experience our student athletes have. For these reasons, we wholeheartedly recommend Sue Meffert for the Taking Positive Steps of Service Award. And along with that, you get a $100,000 bonus. There it is. Certificate, suitable for framing.
Excellent, thank you.
Anything you would like to say?
Not really. Just doing my job. Thank you.
We're going to have to take your picture in front of the Lodi banner.
Yes.
Put in there, Prez.
Not that week.
Thanks, Sue.
Thanks, Sue.
Yeah, so the other area that we are looking at is the 5th grade team. So I'm going to have to turn over to Eric Shannon.
You guys can stand up now.
Yeah.
So, Chris McNeil, Leslie Scheibach, Nicole Schuneman, Garrett Schreiber, and Sharon Whipperforth. The Wisconsin State Journal has an annual holiday initiative called Helping Hands, where K-12 students can submit letters requesting $200 to help a community member, a friend, or a family in need. This activity helps students develop empathy and provides opportunity to recognize all that we have to be grateful for while also thinking of others and their needs. All of LES 5th grade wrote letters about someone they knew or families teachers shared about. Historically, the Wisconsin State Journal has chosen 32 total letters, and maybe 3 or 4 from Lodi were selected each year. This year, 11 different families in the Lodi community received a helping hand of $200 because of our students. Pretty amazing. We also had a community family cover their child's letter when it wasn't selected by the Wisconsin State Journal. Such a great example of kindness in action. This opportunity and impact doesn't happen without the guidance of these staff. Our students in our community are better because of them. Thank you.
Oh. You guys all deserve way more than a candy. Yeah. Sorry.
Start here with grand bonus.
Thank you.
Anything you guys want to say as a team?
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys,
Thank
and
you.
that says a lot about what you're teaching the kids. I mean, obviously, for them, 11 different families in Lodi got picked. that has to
That's
say a lot about your writing style, like,
Yeah.
and the empathy they put in that, and that's amazing, and I really appreciate it. That's awesome.
And they must have felt so good about themselves.
They do.
That's
They-
just-
They did, and I do, yes, thank you.
Yeah,
And the State Journal came and took pictures of them. They usually don't do that, so it was
No, I
pretty
know.
special for the kids.
yeah. Lodi
That's
kids
awesome.
got,
The letters were awesome. They were so heartwarming. Just really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're gonna take pictures of you.
yeah.
Burn on the screen. Mr. Schuneman, you wanna be with them as well?
Heather in the front. Sticker in the middle.
Oh, so many of them nominated, like, so much, like, 4 or 5 for the same family. I know. Like, they're so
Looking for
aware.
those in the paper every year.
So, it's really nice.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys don't have to stay, that's the gift. You don't have to stay.
And we have a presentation.
We do, we have a German trip presentation.
Yes, I'm going to introduce our German trip co-advisor, Michael Myers, and he is going to introduce his students that will give a presentation about their German trip that they just took this last fall. So I'll let you introduce your students.
Good evening, I'm Mike Myers, the school counselor at the middle school, but also the co-advisor, co-coordinator along with Mason Kittleson for the German program at the high school. Tonight we have Charlotte Liu, J.D. Millen, and Marley Riddell.
You guys can say it.
So, hello. Today we are going to be telling you about our trip to Germany. So, I'm going to start by telling you about 2 of the big cities that we visited. So we visited Berlin, which had a lot of governmental buildings, and the remains of the Berlin Wall, and we did a lot of shopping, and we experienced city life. This is one of the governmental buildings in Berlin. It was under construction though, so it wasn't as pretty. This was one of our day trips where we saw the fairy tale castle, also known as Neuschwanstein Castle. And then in Munich, which is the 3rd photo, we spent 4 days where we absorbed culture, history, and new experiences. So some of the history that we learned was we went to Dachau, and there is where we saw the Dachau concentration camp, which had a very well put together museum that we were able to go through, and then we were able to see the barracks and all of that. And then when we went to Eisenach, which is where Martin Luther hid while translating the Bible into German from Latin during the Reformation.
And then here's a little bit about the school system. So first of all, the school that we attended had grades 5 through 13th. And their rooms were also pretty undecorated, as you can see in the picture to the right. And this is because they tend to switch around classrooms, so the classrooms aren't always going to have the same class in it. And school days were from 7:50 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And that sounds like a very long day, but you also get a 30-minute break for breakfast, as well as, I believe it was 10-minute passing periods, and you also have throughout the day holes in your schedule where you can leave the school, go do whatever you want, and then come back for your classes. And another thing that was very interesting was if a teacher was out for some reason, if they were sick or just couldn't make it, you just didn't go to that class. There was no subs or anything, you just simply didn't go.
So next is the travel in Germany. While we were in Germany, we used many different kinds of transportation. Getting there, we took a plane and then followed by a train. It was common to take a bus, car, or subway when we were there to get to your final destination. In the big cities such as Berlin, we saw a lot of bikes and electric scooters as well. And sometimes the trains and subways were packed with people, and other times it was just our group in there.
Now, some of the food. The first picture there, that shows currywurst, and it's a common dish, and it is fried pork, and it has sauce. It has curry powder, which is sprinkled on top, and it's also served with curry-infused ketchup. And a lot of dishes, which this I found was surprising, also came with American fries. And then the second picture shows a pretzel, which we have here in America. The big difference was that a lot of them would be cut, and inside of them would be like a stick of butter. That was just pretty interesting. Yep.
Nice.
And the third picture there is Duna. Now this was an originally Turkish dish, and it features a seasoned meat, usually lamb, and it's in burritos. As that one, I had it in pita bread, and it also traditionally comes with 2 different sauces that you can choose from. I tried both. There was a barbecue sauce, which was similar to here, and yogurt sauce. That one I found interesting, but it was very good.
And then for festivals, we were there during Halloween, which was very similar to American Halloween. I honestly did not see any differences. And then Lola's Fest was one that I went to with my host family. It's an annual festival since about the 8th century that is in celebration of Saint Lul.
Of what? I'm sorry.
Saint Lul. I think he helped bring Catholicism.
And then this is a bit about the natural life in Germany. So a lot of it was similar to Wisconsin. You can see raccoons and bears in those 2 pictures. Those were taken at a zoo by someone that came with us on the trip that unfortunately was not able to be here tonight. But in the wild, they do have deer, foxes, badgers, very similar to here in Wisconsin. And then the top right picture I actually took because my host brother, he owned Highland cows, and I got to go and feed them, and it was a really cool experience.
So now about sports in Germany. The schools didn't offer sports there. If you did a sport, it was organized through your community. Soccer is a very big sport there. When I was there, I was able to go to a game between the rival clubs, which is kind of like an American football game. Like everyone was very, very into it. There's flags, everything. And then I also went to some of the local community teams games, and there was quite a bit of people there too. But overall, the environment was comparable to a football game.
Then our personal favorites. My personal favorite as a history nerd was going to the Dachau concentration camp. It was a very impactful museum, and it was the only day that we had a lot of fog, so it was perfectly eerie for going to this place.
So this was Chris's favorite place. It was one of the many churches that we went to, and it was the most beautiful building ever. And then my personal favorite was Marburg. It was a small town. It was gorgeous. There was lots of things to see, little shops, and then there was a big castle, and it had a whole bunch of cool things in it as well.
And then my favorite was when we hiked the Bavarian Alps, and it was about a 4-hour hike with a very beautiful view, and it was also on my birthday that we hiked it, so.
It's a beautiful picture.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Very nicely done.
Thank you guys for coming, and we love hearing this stuff.
Yes.
This is so
I
exciting.
feel like we took a little trip to Germany.
Yes.
But now I want a pretzel.
They're so
They're
good.
so good.
So how many kids went?
14.
Okay. And you guys all stayed with different host families?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you stay in contact with your host family?
Yes. The us two stayed with the people that we had hosted in the spring,
Okay.
so it was a full exchange.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So always a great experience hosting these and, traveling, and we really thank you and the Lodi community because really it's the parents that make it possible when they come here and host, and then the support they give when we travel abroad. And I have to say, after being hired to come here as a school counselor while I was in Germany, I naturally looked on the website, German, no German language program, but I was pleasantly surprised to see that Lodi has had this relationship with,
A long time.
with our partner school in Tresa for, I think now 15 years.
Yeah.
I believe it was 15 years, so that's quite something to offer without a German language program, and so that speaks to the support from you, the administration, the board, and the families here.
Well,
So,
and thank you to you too
thank
for
you.
doing this.
And what's fun for hosting a German student, because we did, even though, again, there wasn't the language ahead of time, those kids would sit at the dining room table and spend hours figuring out the different words, you know, that they kind of all knew a little German by the time they left.
It's a lot of fun, so thank you, girls.
Thank you guys for being here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Should we all go for this?
Yeah,
one?
let's go, board go.
I don't like the picture that's open up.
Yeah, students should be in the front.
Yes. Sarah.
Are you gonna have to squat?
I think you need,
Thanks, Adam.
I just gotta make sure. All right, here we go. Perfect. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it. Thanks.
Good job, girls. Awesome. Okay, so we do not have any public input.
Empty chairs.
So we do have our consent agenda items. We have our minutes. We have our vouchers. We have 2 fundraiser requests from the golf team, Snap Raise Online Fundraiser and Brat Stand. We have a fundraiser report of our FFA fruit sales. We do not have any field trip request. We have some committee recommendations for approval, base salary from the personnel. Under other, we have middle school discipline report, the elementary OSC discipline report, primary school discipline report, Start College Now applications. We have 2 Wednesday night activity requests, one for the music department and another from the mock trial awards banquet. Under resignations and retirement, we have a request to rescind retirement. And then we have resignations of primary school special education assistant, middle school volleyball coach, K-2 science department head coordinator, volunteer golf coach, and high school associate principal / auditorium director. Under co-curricular, we have a middle school track assistant coach, volunteer baseball coach, volunteer golf coach, volunteer girls soccer coach, and a volunteer track coach. Oh, these volunteers, thank you.
Thank you, yes.
And under crew, we have 2 crew wrestling volunteers and a volleyball volunteer. Under regular staff, we have primary school special education assistant, long-term 7th grade math substitute, math interventionist, and buildings and ground maintenance. And under personnel, we have 2 leave without pay requests.
So, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with the additional approval of the Wednesday night activities request for mock trial awards banquet and the resignation of the high school associate principal and auditorium director.
I'll second.
Motion by Terry, second by Sarah Ramish. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? I'm recusing. Motion passes 6-0. We have our administrative reports. Curriculum.
Dr. Carls was out today ill.
Okay.
Report is there too.
The report is there, so if you want to read it.
And I'll report later too.
Okay. Yeah. At the committee. That sounds good.
Sure.
Our LCAT.
Okay, so LCAT is excited to partner with Lodi Middle School to implement the Pre-Venture program for 7th grade students. Pre-Venture aims to promote mental health and delay the use of tobacco, alcohol, and drugs by providing interventions that help young people utilize their strengths and develop new skills. The program will start on Friday, February 27th, so it's already started, 2026, and it concludes on Friday, May 1st, 2026. LCAT sponsored a virtual presentation given by certified prevention specialist Ricky Barton on Monday, March 2nd. Attendees were given information on the links between social media, substance use, and mental health. The presentation was recorded and posted on the School District of Lodi's YouTube channel for future viewing. LCAT attended the Alliance for Wisconsin AWY Northeast and Southern Regional Meeting on February 20th, 2026. This meeting was held virtually. The purpose of this meeting was to hear updates from our regional partners and to get up-to-date information on prevention and harm reduction programming. LCAT receives funding through AY to purchase items such as medication lock bags and lock boxes. LCAT received a $10,500 grant from the Wisconsin Department of Instruction. The funding will be used to purchase Boatvin's Life Skills workbooks for Mr. Bauer's Life Skills class at the Lodi Middle School. Funding will also be used to implement the pre-venture program for the 7th graders facilitated by LCAT staff. Brian and Sarah are excited to announce that they have secured a $97,000 in congressional directed funding from the Office of United States Senator Tammy Baldwin. Thank you, Tammy. This one-year grant will support LCAT's sister coalition, Prevention and Response Columbia County Park, allowing them to continue providing vital prevention programs to the residents of Columbia County, including those in Lodi.
And thank you, Brian and Sarah.
Yes, they have a lot of work. Please join us for our next LCAT meeting. It's tomorrow morning, which will take place on March 18th from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. in the boardroom at the district office. This meeting is our annual awards ceremony, which recognizes students, schools, staff, organizations, and community members who advance our vision of creating a community where all youth are empowered to make healthy choices.
Awesome. Thanks, Terry. Student services.
Thanks, Heather. Vision and hearing screenings were held this winter at the primary school and LES and OSC. In December, we had 209 third and fifth graders that had their vision screened. About 20% of those screenings resulted in further vision referrals. And in February, 144 4K and first graders had their vision and hearing screenings, with about 3% of referrals from that process. The screenings at the primary school were definitely impacted by illnesses, so they just came back to do their last makeup, I believe it was last week. So thank you to our health office staff, school nurse Janelle Sivam, and health office assistant Nisha Rai for all of their work to get this scheduled, and thanks to Dean from the Lions Club for his leadership and support for our screenings. And we had our third and final developmental screening day last Friday. There are 5 key components that are observed during these typical developmental screenings, like communication and speech, motor skills, social emotional skills, cognitive and pre-academic skills, and vision and hearing assessments there also. These screening days are for students who are close to their 3rd birthday and are designed to provide a play-based setting for young children, and we offer 2 sessions for each of our days. This takes a whole team of people, as you can see, to do these screenings. So Allie Brandt is our early childhood teacher, Andy Rubino, our school psychologist, Crystal Schaff, our occupational therapist, Laura Hansen, physical therapy, and then our speech team, Ashley Anderson, Jen Fifinski, Nora Mack, Megan Rohde, and Lindsay Steiner. So thanks to all of them for all of the developmental screenings throughout the year.
Thank you. And those vision and hearing are very good. My son discovered he was having hearing problems from that screening. So partly because he's probably never been he's never in a quiet room before then, with being 4th kid. But no, you think nothing of it, but it really does make a difference. So I'm glad they do that. Thank you. And Lodi Primary School.
Ms. Fassbender is not here tonight.
Okay. And let's see, where am I? Our student report. Emily's here.
So, we had a math meet, the conference math meet actually, on February 23rd. And we placed 4th as a varsity team.
Ooh.
Some individuals placed, including Bryce Ballway getting 8th and Carter Carls getting 4th for JV. For varsity, James Walsh got 6th place and Nora Gruhl took home 1st place.
Nice.
I would like to say almost by a landslide. The way that those math meets work is there's 3 individual rounds where you get sheets, and
question. There's 3 questions, they each have a different point value. And then you have a team 1. So the team score is based off of everybody's individual scores and the one team score. But the individual is strictly that Nora answered the most correct questions for the most points.
Nice. Good for her.
Kind of going into the music wing, we had Soul and Ensemble District at Lodi High School on February 28th. We had 80 students participate overall with 64 different events. 42 students have advanced to state Soul and Ensemble in 25 separate events. Those events that are going to state consist of solos, duets, trios, and large group ensembles. This event was a huge success. And so I'd like to give a big thank you to the Lodi Music Boosters and the parent volunteers that made it happen so smoothly. There's so many rooms around the school that operate on down to the minute schedules. You know, you get 8 minutes for your solo and comments. But having the room monitors and the runners, it just made
That's a hard job. I never wanted to be one of them. I always felt bad for them. They had to get out of here. Go.
Yeah,
Get
go.
out. Shh. It's
I
like,
did it, and I felt very awkward
Yes.
telling people to be quiet in the hallway. They gave me a sign that said to be quiet, but I was like kind of afraid to use it.
Yeah.
I had another lady say, "You need to tell them to be quiet." I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry."
Yeah, there's like 500 events
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
in the course of the day.
It was so well done.
over, I think it's 8 schools that also come to
Right.
Lodi.
Who all came, Emily? Which schools all came? I know Point Out was there.
Lake Mills was there.
It's our conference.
Mills.
It's our conference.
Yeah.
All our
Lakeside
conference schools. Lakeside Lutheran, Lake Mills, Poinette, Columbus, Waupun.
Oh, upon it's
Yep.
okay.
Yeah. Maybe more. All right. And then we had our FFA week. Our FFA put together fun dress-up days and activities for FFA week, which was February 23rd through 27th. They highlighted the importance of agriculture in our community, and on Friday hosted an assembly. During this, the officer team had a trivia contest, a dance competition between Mr. Marshall and Mr. Jones.
is that on video?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Is it?
It is, yeah. I
Someone
watched
might
it.
have recorded it.
rid of it.
Oh, come on.
I saw it.
Somebody's got their phone out, I'm sure.
Plenty of phones in the crowd.
And a competition for teams to throw pies at teachers. Overall, it was very informative and fun way to end February.
Who won the dance competition?
Mr. Olson, I believe.
It's rigged.
He was a part of the Dancing with the Stars that happened at the halftime.
I did see that.
So
That's pretty
I think he
awesome.
had some training.
He was
He had some
practicing.
pre-training.
Yeah.
He's just smooth.
Excuses,
No,
excuses,
he's just,
Jelnick.
he's just smooth.
It's like half my age.
Thank you, Emily. And Lodi Elementary OSC.
Hello, thank you, board. So a couple of things just wanted to highlight. We are in our full preparations for Ford exam. We have, our 4th grade will start before spring break, but most of our teams will be starting after spring break. So just thank you to all the work that staff are doing to make sure that everything is aligned for that, so we can set students up for success. And then next path, just wanted to kind of give a thank you and an update. This is something that we've been using for the last couple of years, and it's just a very beneficial data collection tool for us. And there's things that we've been able to use and recognize to be able to help students grow, and also to be efficient in our data analysis. And then under Pillar 2, special visit. If you haven't ever read the book Out of My Mind, I highly recommend it. It's a great book. We had a high school junior, Riley, come and give us some information about how he uses a communication device. And students just obviously love hearing from high schoolers. And so they just really ate it up. It was a great time. And also special thanks to the team of staff that helped set that up and make that a great learning experience for our students. And then bullying prevention update. Just wanted to let you know we did meet K-5 with our bully prevention team. We have decided to change our name to Ensuring a Sense of Community for All Kids family team. And then we did do an activity where we had to categorize a scenario into either a mean moment, a conflict, or a bullying situation, and how we would respond to that. So that was a great activity that Mrs. Barr led. And then we talked about how the month of February, how we have done the things that we've done to try to promote kindness during this month, and then reviewed our resources that we continue to share with families in our newsletters. And then I also wanted to highlight, we had students choose to participate in the Columbia County Youth Conservation Awareness Poster Contest. And so we had some students recognized, all students who submitted a poster, they didn't know this, but all of them got Culver's tokens afterwards. And then these students were recognized for placing. And so they came and got their picture taken and some fun goodies from Sauk County.
So they did the posters, they didn't even know about the
They didn't know about the recognition till after. And then we did have a staff outing, went bowling at the Riviera Bowl and Pizzeria in Sauk City, and it's always just good to spend some time together outside of the building as well.
Nice. Thank you. Lodi Middle School.
Good evening, board. First thing I want to highlight is we participate in the Greater Dane County Advanced Learners Network as a way to challenge our advanced learners. And one of the things we do is we take part in the Greater Dane County Anthology Project, which is a contest for writing and drawing. And we had several students make submissions this year. There were 475 students across 24 school districts, and we have 3 different winners. Congratulations to Anna Plant, Floyd Stapleton, and Alex Gort for their submissions to that. And thank you to Paula Tunn and to Elise Kearney for organizing this event for our kids. Next, we have Youth Art Month, more celebrations there. This year, Lodi Middle School proudly had 5 students enter exhibits, showcasing their talent and hard work. I want to say congratulations to Lucy Fahey, Nissa Edwards, Alexis Stark, Reese Wilcox, and Braden Rowan for their amazing contributions to that event. Middle school forensics, one of my favorite things. We had, I believe, 48 students in middle school forensics this year, which is just incredible. And really just want to give a shout out to these students for their courage to get up on a stage in front of their peers. It's one of the hardest things you can do, and I'm really proud of these middle schoolers for all the work they put in, but also the courage to step on the stage in front of their peers. And I'm going to go down to Pillar 2. So February historically has been a challenging month for middle schoolers. We've had higher referral rates that month. So one of the things we tried to do was really focus on positivity, on noticing kids, and helping them feel valued. And I just think the reminder at this time of year that letting staff know, like, hey, this is one of our months that is going to be challenging, so let's give them some grace. Let's also hold them accountable, but let's also try to make sure that they're hearing more positive things than normal. I do think our staff does an outstanding job of being positive with our students and connecting, and I just asked them, hey, let's step that up this month, and the result was we had a significant decrease in referrals, and so I appreciate all of their efforts in helping our kids belong, which I think makes a big difference in their day. After school movie outing, we had 120 middle schoolers go to see GOAT, which I heard was an amazing show. And going to experiences like this makes sure that some of our kids don't always get experiences like this, so it's great for them to have know what it's like to go order from food from a movie theater, to even go into a movie theater. So it's really great for them to have that opportunity, and mostly it's really about making connections with each other and making memories with each other. So thanks to our student celebration team for providing that opportunity. January Student of the Month was Respect. Congratulations to 6th grader Ivy Hack, 7th grader Maya Skalitsky, Cole King, 8th grader, and Liam Blankenship, 6th grade. And congratulations to Terry for your grandson being here.
Yes.
So.
He was very proud. He said, Grandma, you're going to see me and hear about me. Oh. As long as
She's
it's
not
good.
a proud grandparent.
I am a
She's
very
already
proud
pointing.
I told her.
Down to Pillar 3, I want to thank our parents that came to parent-teachers conferences. It's a great opportunity, as always, for us to connect. I also want to thank them for their support for providing our staff with a taco bar meal. And I want to say small thing, it's not a small thing, but this really takes one thing off our teacher's plate on a really, really busy day. So they are very appreciative of that. We had, and this has actually happened already, Greg Marshall came to perform for our middle school and high school on March 4th. His message was really about courage, kindness, and humility. He does a little bit of everything. He does some storytelling, he did some freestyle rapping, he played some songs, he does looping songs with some pedals and things. So it was a great show. And also, it's really cool that he's a Lodi High School graduate. He graduated with me and Heather.
IBA is great.
And I just think it's really cool for our Lodi students to see someone on the stage from Lodi. So it was a great opportunity, I think, Greg,
And all
for
that talent.
coming back
Yes.
and providing that show. District workforce, the legend's back. Lyle Henderson is stepping in for 7th grade math. This is actually his last week this week, but I appreciate all he's done. He's been retired for I think like 7 years, and then he's stepping back in the classroom, and he just has done an awesome job of really laying a foundation for his kids and holding his kids to high standards. And he was my 7th grade middle school math teacher, so it's a little bit nostalgic having him in the building. I guess I became a math teacher for a reason. I would say he was a big part of it.
Do you call him Lyle, or do you say Mr. Hendricks?
I've called him Lyle for years.
Okay.
Actually. He's a friend of my in-laws. So
Oh, that's true,
I've known
yeah.
Lyle a long time. Also at district workforce, one of the things the impact team wanted me to do towards the middle of the year here is to ask staff why Lodi. So as I meet with them to review their classroom observations, I just ask them, okay, like why Lodi? These are some of the themes that come up, but really, I will tell you it's about people. They love the people they work with. They love the kids. They love this community. They feel very supported and fortunate to work here and feel like Lodi is just a great community. So, and it really takes a village, right? And it's not just like one person that's going to make them feel valued. It is an entire community that's making our teachers feel that way. Then the student success team, just trying to highlight teams each month. So this is our student success team. They develop and implement multi-tiered systems of support to address student academic, behavioral, and social emotional needs while also monitoring the effectiveness of those interventions. Team members are myself, Mike Myers, Lise Kearney, Pete Franklin, and Nick Franciscovich. And that is all from the middle school.
Wow.
Thanks, Derek.
Thanks.
And good luck on Saturday.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm excited. Good luck to you.
Thanks. I will only cry 83 times. High school.
All right, thanks, Heather. First of all, we are going to be giving the ACT tomorrow, so Tuesday, March 10th. All of our juniors will come into the school, and we also have close to 55 9th and 10th graders that will be coming in to take the practice ACT. So some of them are a little bit surprised when we pull them down because they didn't know their parents had signed them up to take practice ACT, which is fine.
They were getting a day off.
They thought they were getting a day off. No, it's great because there are some 10th graders that have taken it as a 9th grader, as a 10th grader, 11th grade in the fall. So by the time they take it for real, they've taken it 3 times.
Nice.
So that really helps. We are taking it at the digital form of the ACT. We did that the last couple of years, and that seemed to work pretty well. It's nice, we have only 8 students in each classroom for juniors with a couple proctors. And there are some changes to the ACT this year. They're highlighted in this chart that you can see what's changing. We are still covering English, reading, math, science. But you can look at the changes and how this helps the students, so you can take a look at that. I did want to thank our testing, we call it the Dream Team, our testing team. That includes Elise Kearney, Nick Carls, Nick Franciscovich, Grant Lemke, Matt Horan, Adria Schrader, our special ed team. Jason Marshall's name is not there, but he was also part of our team. Especially Elise, because she does this whole thing for about a month beforehand. It's called Countdown to the ACT, where every homeroom, which is on Mondays, there's something provided for our juniors just to kind of get ready. I also did want to mention also some of our teachers. Amy Jelnick has done a lot in her junior classrooms for writing and things like that to get kids ready. So that's the ACT tomorrow. A lot of celebrations. I know Emily covered some of these. We did have our math meet in Nora Gruel. That was pretty impressive. I talked to Christy Paskey. She said it's been a really, really long time where we have placed first with a student. So kudos to Nora. Forensics, they did win the Capital Conference Championship, which is great, and they've been competing in lots of other events. There's a link on the bottom there that you can take a look, and it shows this individual students and how they are placing at some of these forensics tournaments. Mock trial did go to state this last weekend. I don't mention it in here because I sent this over before then, so congratulations. One important part about regionals was the varsity team placed first and the JV team placed second at a varsity meet. So two of our teams placed 1 and 2, but a JV team can't go to state. So it was great. I think they went 1 and 3 this weekend, I want to say. But Renee Potter said they performed really well, and there's some really close scores. So congratulations to mock trial. We did have some state wrestlers, individual wrestlers that went. So it was Alex Breinig and Briar Caves, and Briar Caves placed 3rd, which is great. We did send them off with a drum line, so I wanted to thank Noah McKay and our percussionist for walking them around the school. State powerlifters, we had a couple that actually competed this last weekend, did really well, and I just found out today they are traveling to nationals. So Marin Daly and Trent Slender are going down to Texas, and they're going to be competing in nationals for powerlifting, which I think is really, really cool. So it's in Killian, Texas on March 27th and March 28th. We're not putting them on a bus, just so you guys know.
No, that's nice for them.
I think parents are just getting them down there, so that'll be cool. Districts, I know we talked a little bit about district, state, solo ensemble. I just wanted to mention Kate McRae and Noah McKay, and then the parents of Booster Club. I was there a little bit when they were setting up, and I walked around for a little bit the day of. It's amazing the coordination it takes to run that, so I was very impressed with it, and they just did an awesome job. We did have some signings for students, our student athletes that are going to take their skills to the next level. So Hayden Struce-Clark and Everett Clemens, congratulations to them. Hayden will be wrestling at Mercyhurst in Pennsylvania, and Everett will be running cross country in Eau Claire, which is cool. Visual Arts Classic, you can read a little bit about that. Our art students are doing some amazing things, and they have advanced to state, all of them, to state at Edgewood College on April 10th. You can see our students of the month. We did mention about FFA week, and yes, Mr. Olson did win the dance contest. And I don't know if you guys know this, but he got tap lessons when he was a child, so that's probably the reason why. No, I thought it was really cool. We had never, in my tenure at the high school, I've never seen an assembly at the end of FFA week, and 2 of the officers came to me about a month ago and said, we want to do an assembly. And I said, yeah, we can do that. And like Derek talked a little bit about February being kind of a lull month, it was great to have an assembly with them. In fact, Derek doesn't know this, but we're gonna invite 8th graders over next year for the end of the week assembly, just because there's a lot of FFA kids at the middle school as well. So you're invited next year.
More competition in the dance party, Joe.
Yeah, more competition in the, yes, Derek can get out there too. I'm out. Yeah, and then we did have Dancing with the Stars, which was really cool. This is something new that the dance team did. So Coach Enders, Coach Mack, and Coach Olson. I envisioned them just like getting out there and just, you know, doing their moves. It was, I don't know if you watched the video.
I did watch it.
A lot of,
We can bring the video up.
yeah, well, I don't know if they would appreciate that, but it was, they definitely, had a lot of lessons and worked at it for a long time. It was very impressive, so.
No, it's pretty awesome.
I wanted to include the video, so it was cool. Our leadership council is continuing to do a lot of great things. We've done volleyball tournaments, so we had another one, and lots of kids there. It's great for them to find something to do, from 9:30 to about 11 o'clock at night after a basketball game. So I wanted to appreciate Mr. Kittleson, Ms. Shep, and Mr. Marshall for chaperoning that. And then one of the last things is we do have a jobs fair coming up Thursday, April 16th. We have about 20 participants so far, and we're looking for a few more. So our students will be able to walk through and see if they can find summer jobs and beyond. And hopefully we'll give some of these businesses some employees. So that's coming up. And then you see our spring sports starting dates. Track and field got probably the best starting date they've ever had today.
Gosh, for sure.
With the weather, and then you can see all the other ones. So, and for those people out there, if your son or daughter is still interested in spring sports, you can reach out to the high school and definitely join the sport. So.
There were many days where there was snow still on the.
Oh,
gosh.
Everywhere.
We might have snow.
And there will be.
We might have snow
there
on
will
Wednesday.
still be.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yep.
All right, district administrator report.
Yeah, thank you, Heather. I just have a few things. We have a high school music concert coming up, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow. So the 17th at 7 p.m. So the high school band and choir concert. Just a reminder, we have a school board election coming up as well. That's scheduled for Tuesday, April 7th. We have 2 candidates, and they're Adam Steinberg and Sarah Ramish. So please get out and vote, and we always appreciate anybody willing to run for the Board of Education. It's a large commitment for your community, so we appreciate that. And then just a reminder, we have spring break coming up in a couple weeks, so the district office and all the offices in the district will be closed March 23rd through March 27th. Actually, we'll close Friday, March 20th at 4 p.m. and reopen in the morning of March 30th.
What time is the band in?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. it starts? Thank you. I'll just put a reminder in my phone, because I have not been to one of those for a while. I miss it.
Thank you, Vince. You're going to hear the district talk more and more about the dreaded R word, referendum. We have already been talking about it for months and months, trying to really plan things out and being responsible for what our district needs, all while constantly being aware of the fact that we need to keep our community informed and feel good about supporting what our district needs. One of the many things that our district did was to really dive into what our district needs in the future. I'm not talking about this year and next. I'm talking now, in the near future, and in the decades to follow. We need to constantly be budgeting and planning for as far out as possible while still making sure we're taking care of needs right now. We need to hear from everyone. You'll be receiving a survey in your mailbox. Please, I'm begging you to please take the time to fill it out. You can fill out the paper version from your mailbox, or you can fill it out online by using the QR code. You should be getting this in early April. Please fill it out. I would love to have a record number of responses. I'm a competitive person, and I really want our community to show up, like we always do, and fill out a record number of responses from one of our surveys. I know, another darn school survey, but this isn't just for parents, this isn't just for students, this isn't just for our employees. This is for every single voter in our area to tell us what is important to you, what you want for our district, and where you want your tax money to go. Please, I'm pleading with you to please share your insights. As a fellow community member, I'm dying to hear what people's opinions are, but as a board member, we need the survey results. We need to hear from people on what is important to them. We are very aware of how important our district is to our community and of the fact that people want to know where their money is going towards and to feel good about it. Don't make me come and find you. Believe me, my husband will agree that I'm quite good in the nagging department. Changing the subject, I want to congratulate all of our students and staff for working hard and staying focused. I can't believe we're talking about summer school already, so the end of the year is coming faster than we think. Keep up the good work and enjoy the much-needed spring break. Take the time to spend with family and friends and do a little reset to get ready for the rest of the school year. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it will go fast, especially for our seniors and for their parents. Fall activities and sports seasons are finishing up, and not to brag or anything, actually I will definitely brag anytime, anywhere about our district, but our students have been quite successful in their activities. I want to congratulate each and every student in all the grades that was involved in some sort of activity over the winter season. Making goals, making friends, pushing yourself, and growing as a person is way more important than the actual activity itself. Please always remember that being involved is teaching you so many lessons and skills that you are not even aware of, but will contribute to your success in life. And like always, I want to thank all staff members of our district, parents, and all community members for giving our students all the opportunities that our community has for them. If you didn't already know, I'm extremely proud to live here, and I love Lodi, so thank you.
Is the survey coming, Heather?
In April, mailbox, QR code.
Can they fill
Everybody.
it out online?
Yes.
Can they fill it out on paper?
Yes, you can
Yes.
do it all.
And the deadline is April 22nd. So
Yes.
it's gonna come the first part of April.
So when it comes to your mailbox,
Get
just
it
fill it
done.
out and get it over with.
When's the board gonna talk about a survey?
Tonight.
Oh, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the next agenda item?
Yes, actually, right now. Good timing.
Yes.
So this survey is gonna be coming in April, so yes.
So back in January, the board approved moving forward with the community survey facilitated by School Perception. Since that time, their administrative team been working closely with them to develop a survey, the content and timeline for distribution. The survey will gather community feedback on several important topics, as Heather just got done talking about, including potential operational referendum, considerations around a recurring versus a non-recurring referendum, a question about market analysis model related to staff compensation, and then feedback on the work and recommendations of the community viability team did around facilities and green space. The Facility and Finance Committee met with School Perceptions during their last committee meeting to review the survey and suggested some edits. After this conversation, the committee moved the community survey to full board with a recommendation for approval. So I'm going to take a minute and just kind of walk through the survey. The first page is just kind of an introduction. We have so much to be proud of, key reasons for our success, and then that box right there, that gray box, will take 2 ways to take this survey. When the survey actually hits your mailbox, there will be a code specific to every mailbox. Enter your code if you want to take it online. If you need additional, if there's more than one adult in your house that wants to take this survey, you just need to reach out to the district office. We will have additional codes, or we can send you another paper copy of the survey. And just as Heather just got done saying, that last part is that we need to hear from you, and we really appreciate you taking the time to do this. So the next page just talks about our academic success and the reasons for that, right? The support we've had in the last referendum, but the financial challenges that we have and where we are. Like, we had a referendum passed in 2022. It will expire at the end of next year. And we're experiencing, just like everybody else, experiencing increasing costs. And the state limits how much money we have. So to help balance our budget, these are some things that we have done. And even that, we're projecting a shortfall, which is going to be nearly $6 million over the next 5 years. And we are not alone. 87% of the school districts in the state of Wisconsin have gone to Operation Referendum, and we have regularly approved a referendum since 2008. So here is the bread and butter of the survey. The questions, the first one, would you support the school district maintaining the current level of Operation Referendum funding, $5.98 million for the next 5 years? So this would not increase the district's property, our ask. It's the same ask we have. We can't control the mill rates and things like that, right, when the equalized value and things like that, but, and then it asks the question, do we want to look at a non-recurring referendum, which is what we have been having, so like a 5-year referendum, and then it goes away. Another 5-year referendum, it goes away. Or do we want to do a recurring referendum where once you pass it, it keeps going. So we did $5.98 million in 2022. If we do another 5.98, you just want to keep that going. Knowing that you still could have to go to referendum in the future. You just don't know what state budgets are going to do and things of that nature. And then the last question, if you slide down a little farther, Mr. Potter, is about staff compensation, indicating that we have looked at a 90% market analysis model, and we would like to bring our staff up to, our certified staff up to 90% of the market average. If you look at our neighboring school districts and a couple similar sized conference school districts, and would taxpayers be willing to support a referendum, an additional amount of $675,000 to support our staff and get them up to that market average. And what that means is we've spent time looking at similar positions. So if you are a middle school teacher who teaches math and you have this many years experience and this much education, we look at all these other districts. Well, what other people are getting that, who's a middle school teacher, teaches math, and has that same level of experience, what are they making? And we can gather all that information. So we did that for all of our positions and then said, well, what would it take for us to get everybody up to market average? And then we dropped it back, well, what would it take to get everybody up at least within 90% of that market average? And so, because we are behind many of our neighboring staff, our districts, for how we compensate staff. So this would allow us to do that.
And at only 26 cents.
Yeah, or $26 per $100,000 property.
Right.
So there's a cost to it, right? So absolutely. But one of our strategic plan pieces is making sure that we have a great staff. So it's a question we'd like to hear from our community. Any questions about that part? That's really the operational referendum questions. There's 3 of them on there, really focused on operational referendum. Yeah. So that's what we have in place right now is an operational referendum. So the next questions really go back into the presentation that we had last month when I was stuck in my office sick. We had the community viability team come. They've spent 6 months researching our facilities and our grounds, and knowing that, so they put together a recommendation that they would like to get input from the community. And this is in the order but that committee put these things. So would people be willing to pay to complete each of the projects below? Career and technical education. And really there's a short thing like, what's the issue? What's the solution? Right? And again, we have limited amount of text. If people want to go online and look at the community viability team's website, it has the whole presentation on there. There's videos on there and things of that nature.
All the people that were involved.
All the people that were involved are listed on here as well. But it just gives you a lot more information. But right in a survey, we have to be really succinct. So career and technical education, and then the estimated cost of what that would be. Indoor athletics, estimated cost, what the issue is. Performing Arts Center, estimated cost, and then outdoor athletics, what it is, estimated cost. And yes, I would support it. No, I wouldn't, or I'm not sure. And then below that is how to fund it when you start looking at the cost, like would people be willing to pay $15 million over the course of 21 years to pay for some of those things up above, whether we're willing to pay 20 million, 25, up to 33.3, which would cover all of those things. And so just looking at, again, getting that information back to the board to help you as a board make decisions on how to prioritize those areas. And then finally, the last section is the community viability team also talked about other areas they'd like to gather input, maybe not, not right now, but things in the future. Is the community interested in these things? Because they were things that came up by the community viability team. They all thought they were very important, but they had to prioritize knowing that you can't do everything at once. So they looked at what would it cost to bring put another high school gym. Lodi is the only school in our conference that only has one gym in their high school. And we have kids who are scheduled at night for practices late, younger kids, because we don't have gym space. So just asking about that. Softball and baseball support areas, like looking at lights, permanent restrooms and concessions, that came up a lot, like there's no running water at any of our ball diamonds and things like that for bathrooms and concessions. Varsity softball and JV, just regrading those fields, like can we smooth those fields out? JV, the JV diamond out here, because there's some swales in it that makes it a little dangerous to play on. The softball field, you'd have to put some drainage in as well, because just flattening doesn't work. And then looking at creating a JV baseball facility over here, and then looking at a different expansion to the Performing Arts Center. So again, all that information is on our website if you want to look into more depth. But this is the survey, and then again, there's a list of all the people who are involved in that planning, and thanking them for that. And then the second to last page is just kind of overall satisfaction with the district. Are you satisfied in each of the following areas? And then if people can explain why they made those ratings. How likely would you recommend the district to a friend or family member? And then a little bit lower is, this really kind of leans into like, who's responding? What's your age? Is your primary residence the school district Lodi? Which municipality you live in? Are you an employee? And you have children attending the district. So one of the things for that, right, it tells us what the different age groups are thinking. People who have kids in school versus people who don't have kids in school. We also want to hear from our staff, but we also know not all of our staff are from the district. So we want to hear from them, but we want them also to check the box that, oh, I don't have kids, I don't live in the district, right? So we will look at that information, know that information, but it won't be compiled with the rest of everybody else's information. We also know open enrolled families will get this, right? So they're not paying taxes in our district. They will get this survey, but if they don't, their primary residence here, again, we will set that aside. We want to hear from them, but they are not taxpayers in our district, so we want to hear from them. So that's why all that information is very important.
Well, and especially that do not live in the district, that exactly explains why that's on there.
Right, and we also have bulk mailing, so there, right, there's a chance, like I used to live out by Crystal Lake, and I would often get school district of Lodi things, as well as the Sauk Prairie School District. At that time, I was in the Sauk Prairie School District, but I would get things from Lodi as well. So just make sure that we check those off. And then,
I didn't catch this the other day when we were at the committee meeting, but the under facility planning, last year the district formed a committee made up of residents, taxpayers, staff, and parents. I don't know, do we want to add students? Because there were 2 students on that committee. I don't know if that is something that should, just so they know that we tried to really get all aspects.
Yeah.
I know we talked a little bit about, I mean, there's a lot of words. It's 8 pages. It's a lot. Are things gonna get lost? Are things gonna get ignored? I mean, but there's so much information that we need to know. And having been on the Facility and Finance Committee the last few years, we got to a point where we were stuck, a couple of years ago, that's what kind of drove this too, is we really can't go any further until we know what are people thinking?
No, and we did talk about that a lot, because it is long, and we do apologize, but we want people to be informed of where we're coming from, why we're asking these questions. I would rather that than people wondering, why is this even on here? So
It's was also a very informational survey,
Yeah,
because it really took what the committees were looking at and trying to work at and put it out.
yeah.
And that is one of the things that school perception will talk about, like, one of the other, obviously getting information back is a number one priority, but a survey is also very educational for our
Yes, and
community.
this one I think is a very educational survey.
Absolutely. But yeah, absolutely, we can add students in,
Okay.
the CBT, I mean,
Just
adding
so-
that one word.
I mean, and obviously that we listed the names, which is great, but not
They
everybody
played
knows which
a
ones.
huge role.
Yeah. And obviously, us board members looked at this way more thorough than how you're going through it. I
Yes.
just want the
Yes.
community to know that we really
Yeah, we
dived
spent a
into
lot of time in
this.
facility
Yeah.
finance, and the board has had the opportunity to look at this.
Commiserated over it.
I didn't notice this until just now. Paper, return to any school office or mail it to school perceptions
Yep.
in Slinger. Is there gonna be a return envelope for that? Or is somebody gonna have to, with postage paid, or is somebody gonna have?
Yeah, I'll have to check on that.
I guess that would be
Mm-hmm.
a question with, on page one there in the sort of grade.
I'm thinking
area.
a lot of people will probably choose to do this online.
Yes.
And I think sometimes, like, depending on the way the survey looks, if it's laid out, like a lot of them where there's a question and then you like answer that one and then it takes you to the next one, it doesn't maybe feel so overwhelming, like, cause this you're seeing
Yeah.
page after page. I mean, I know there's verbiage in the beginning that you're gonna read through, but it might feel less taxing.
Well, and it does say
to do like
online
that.
saves postage expense. I'm assuming you don't have to pay postage.
I mean, and we talked about that, about sending, that there are people that are gonna wanna fill it out on
Do you
paper.
think so, if it says it on there, though?
Oh, yeah, no, it should definitely be an option.
We are for sure?
I think we are too.
Okay,
I think we're very close.
so the people don't have to, though, that's what,
No, no, no.
okay.
That's us.
I think we
Okay.
do, yeah.
I think Adam's right.
And then 70% of the people will fill it out online, so.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of our elderly population, like I think of my parents would not fill this out
Oh,
online.
yeah.
They will fill it out on paper.
Terry.
Yeah. So depending on the group, but that, as we talk school perceptions, right, 70% will fill it out online, 30% do it on paper. But you get over 65, that number flips, typically. So,
Sixty-five-year-old, I know one that'll
yeah,
fill it out, he'll fill it out on paper.
there's a lot of people who do it online, so, but we wanted to make sure that, that was one of the things we talked about, making sure
Yep.
that option was there for both. We didn't want that to be a barrier for someone to fill it in, that they didn't want to go online, or they just had to do it on paper. Like, we want to give people the option.
I also was wondering in the beginning, you mentioned that if people need assistance in Spanish, that they can contact Jen Morgan. I know, like, do we still send out the announcements that come through the, I don't know if it's Infinite Campus, the ones we get, like,
Depends on many of them, we have them,
in Hmong too, right?
not
Or
often
not
in money.
anymore? So
typically
is it
just in
only
Ch-
Spanish now?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if we needed that, but.
And then the last page, I didn't go over that, but the last page is for the post office. Like, it's pretty open.
Yeah.
So post office gets that one.
So, with all this, I'd like to make a motion to approve the community survey as presented.
And I'll second.
Motion by Terry, second by Adam. Any more discussion?
One thing I would add to as presented is as presented with the changes that Heather brought up.
Oh, as presented with adding students.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Take the survey, take the survey, take the survey.
So just timeline-wise, just so people know, so I will meet with school perceptions tomorrow. To finalize this, it goes to their external proofer, and then we'll go to the printer. This will come out shortly after spring break. April 1st, it goes out to staff. April 6th, it goes out, it should land in mailboxes. The week of April 6th, it should land in mailboxes. We can't control exactly when it lands in your mailbox. And the reason it goes out to staff first is many times when someone gets a survey in their mailbox, first person to ask is a staff member, like, hey, what about this? And that way staff have had the opportunity to look at it and can answer people's questions. It's not that we want, if staff is more important than hearing from our community, we just want to have staff have the opportunity to see it. So if people have questions, they're much more likely to ask their classroom teacher or the educational assistant that they know versus calling the superintendent or calling a board member. So we just want to make sure that they're a resource, and by giving them the survey a week ahead of time, then they're a resource.
Thanks, Vince. Summer school.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn this over to Mr. Shinneman to talk about Summer school course
Put them on the
Awesome
spot.
choices.
classes. If there's
I
anything
wanna
you
go
want to
back
add.
to summer school.
I wanna take the Pinterest one.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, how fun
You'll
are
be
these
lost.
classes?
Well, I think the biggest thing is we're super thankful that we get the participation we get from staff in order to be able to run these classes. The collaboration along with, not just our staff, but then the buildings that we use. And so, yeah, we're excited about some of the offerings. We have a couple new ones. We have some new classes, but we also have some of those consistent, classes that have been offered over and over again that students just love. And so, a good mix of enrichment and, academic. Yeah, we're excited about our offerings and super thankful to the staff that are choosing to help us be able to run this program, because we can't do it without them.
And Emma Newmeyer organizes all this,
Oh,
right?
God,
So
yes.
Emma is the summer school guru.
She is.
So Mrs. Fossbender and I, we're obviously supporting her in that, but she is amazing and does a great job, not just putting things together, so for communication wise and connecting with families, but also with staff and, making sure we're putting them in a position to be successful as well. And then, something that's not on this part, is also then her communication with, co-busing and transportation as
yeah.
well. And our school nurses, and, there's just a lot that goes into it, and so we're super thankful, for her and the job that she does. Any questions about any courses?
They look great.
No, fun.
Right now, we're in the process, just so you all know, we're in the process of, recommended, students who get recommended for classes, are
Sure.
finishing up that enrollment, so that early enrollment, and then this will, be opening up here quick, I think March 18th.
Yep.
Is the date?
March 16th. I think it's
16th.
on there, yeah.
Thanks, Eric.
I will make motion to approve the summer school classes as presented.
No second.
Motion by Sarah Rames, second by Adam. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. And compensation.
Yeah, so the Personnel Committee met last week, and they met last week, but we started talking about compensation in February. They asked the administration to bring back costing in the range of staff increases in pay from 2% to 3%, as the consumer price index for the past year was 2.63. We usually start right around there. That's where we start when we start talking about compensation. This information was shared with both the Personnel Committee and the Facility Finance Committee in February. The information was brought back to Personnel Committee in March to ascertain if they wanted any more information gathered prior to making a decision on compensation for next year. After discussion, the Personnel Committee unanimously moved to the full board recommendation of 3% raise across the board for staff compensation for the 26-27 school year. The committee did not specify if they wanted this increase to be given to staff in a percentage raise, or if they wanted a flat increase across staff, so that's a conversation we'll need to have here at the board level, and that will need to be part of the motion if the board acts on today.
So explain the difference between the
Yes.
two.
So a percentage raise is just what it says, like, when you have teachers who make, starting salary last year is $43,000, up to, $70,000, $80,000, and it's a percentage, so it's 3% of that, and that's your raise. So, if you do a flat raise, you take that 3% all put together and then divide it by an amount of employees it has, and everybody gets the exact same amount. So the percentage overall was 3% for the district, but depending on where you are, if you're our lowest paid staff member at $43,000, your percentage rate is much higher than 3%, and if you're top of our pay scale, you're significantly below 3%. But overall, it's still a 3% raise for the district. Is that what you're looking for, Adam?
Yes, as a percentage.
It's a little more difficult to do that with support staff, hourly employees, so typically we do them as a percentage.
So
We also have to keep in our-
Personnel committee discuss that amongst themselves, and was there a recommendation? Was the recommendation moved forward by the personnel committee for the percentage or for the,
Just the
Flat.
percentage.
just the percentage?
They just did, the 3%, but they didn't decide on the flat rate or if it was gonna be a percentage for all,
Did
right?
you discuss it at all?
They did it.
Yes.
You didn't talk about whether it would be a flat raise or a percentage raise.
percentage.
That's what I'm
You
asking.
just said 3% overall.
Right.
They didn't talk. That's why I put that there, like, you have to make that decision today.
Not which one to do, we didn't choose one from.
Okay.
So is this other document?
I did it in my mind.
Maybe in the price differential?
What was in your mind when you were making that motion?
Since this
Which
one
one?
tells us
Okay.
kind of what the implications
Sure,
are.
so if you look at the support staff, the 2%
Okay.
raise
She was just trying to find
And what we've done in the past,
base, so that'd be the total cost.
is the percentage.
We've always done
Okay.
Everything put
percentage.
together.
I thought we did a,
Flat
I thought we did a flat rate for support staff.
I see, okay.
Or am I,
That's the hard one to do at a flat rate, so. For support staff.
Yeah. It's up to you, you can do it either way, we can make either one work. Jason's a whiz over there, so you can do anything you ask him to do.
So when I make this motion to move this forward, if I just say the 3%, then we haven't made the decision on how it's going to be divided up, is that
Yeah,
correct?
so if, I would say if you're gonna make it, either say one or the other, say 3% as a percentage raise, or 3% as a flat rate across. Because the same would be with administrators, right, or directors. You look at, either they get a percentage based on their salary, or you look at 3% is altogether, and then you divide it out. And then the district administrator, again, as being part of this, I don't make a recommendation for myself, so that
We've
wasn't the.
done percentage, that's what we've done in the past, that we've done for a very long time. Is there any board member here who feels strongly against the idea of percentage in favor of the flat rate? I do not. I would say what I would vote for would be as a percentage.
So everybody just
Me
gets
too.
3% of their salary. We're not doing the splitting up, is what you would want.
That's
That's what I would
percentage.
want also.
I just
So
wanna make sure.
I'm just asking, is there any, are there, in order to facilitate moving this along and discussing this, is there
Yeah.
anybody here who feels strongly that the board should have a discussion about flat rate, or do we all feel that
I feel the
we
same as you.
want to do the percentage? Because if we all feel we wanna do the percentage, it's very
Make
easy
your
for
motion.
Teresa to make the motion. We can still discuss after if somebody wants to also.
Okay, all right, I would like to make a motion, sent to our full board here. 3% compensation increase applied as a percentage for support staff, a 3% compensation increase for professional exempt staff, with the first $500 of the increase being applied for PPG completion, and the remainder of the compensation being applied as a percentage of staff salaries. A 3% compensation increase applied as a percentage on salaries for directors, specialists, coordinators, administrative staff, and a 2.63% compensation increase for the district administrator.
A second.
Motion by Teresa, second by Scott. Any more discussion? Sarah Ramish, I feel like you wanna say something.
No.
No?
I was gonna second, but Scott beat me to it.
Oh, okay. I was
No,
like, I
it's
feel
all
like,
good.
okay.
It's all good.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, staff, for everything you do, and I hope you know that we would give you way more than your percentage.
Yeah,
if we
and
had
so one of the things just to mention for community members, like, these decisions are a little easier in the second year of state budget. Like last year when we were making this decision, we don't know what the district's gonna get from the state budget, so last year this drags out a little longer and it's hard to project. Where this year, we know what's in the state budget for the next year, so it's much easier to project, so that makes this an easier decision. So some years is a longer conversation about it, cause
Yeah.
we don't know, have as much information.
Thanks, Vince.
Co-curricular pay schedule.
Yeah, so I want to give a little background on this topic. So about 2 years ago, one of our co-curricular programs approached the board requesting an increase in pay for their advisors. At the time, the board or a board committee indicated it was difficult to act on the request without understanding how the activity fit with the broader co-curricular pay schedule. As a result, the administration was directed to conduct a full review and revamp of the co-curricular compensation structure. This work was originally included on the balanced scorecard for the 24-25 school year. However, we had turnover in the business office, with Brent leaving and Jason coming. We were not able to complete at that time. I did not want to put that onto a new business manager. So we pressed pause. I let the board know we were pressing pause. But we carried that item forward to this year's balanced scorecard and have now completed that review. The updated schedule was developed using four-point analysis. First, we benchmarked pay across all schools in our athletic conference. Then we conducted a regional market comparison with nearby non-conference districts. Third, we reviewed self-reported hours worked to better understand the hourly investment involved in each activity. And fourth, we looked closely at the roles and responsibilities of each coaching and advisor position. Based on that analysis, some co-curricular stipends increased while others decreased. We also worked to improve internal consistency, that the pay progression between similar activities and years of experience was more aligned. If this is updated, if this update schedule had been in place this year, the net impact would have been an additional $6,272 paid to staff overall, so there's money put into the system. But again, as I just mentioned, still some people, there were reductions in some areas and some areas were brought up, and there was some consistency, so with all that movement, there was an additional $6,000 put into the system. So it wasn't a money-saving issue, it was more just trying to make sure there was equity across these different activities. And overall, it was really an investment into the system. So,
When you said it had been years and years before that was looked over.
oh, yeah, I don't know, it hasn't been since my time, like, things have just been added, and so it was time,
Yeah.
for us to look at it. And anytime you touch something like that, right, people, it's personal, right? And, so it's a very difficult conversation. One of the things that Adam reminded us of today is, like, it was great to have Jason do it, because Jason's new. Right? He's not invested in all these
Yeah,
people and things
no.
like that. He can look at it
He
more,
just
probably a little more
knows.
objective than the rest of us.
And Jason, thank you. That looks like a
That's
lot of work.
Huge
That looked like a lot of
undertaking,
work.
sure. Yeah.
So the Personnel Review Committee reviewed this in their February meeting and unanimously moved it to the full board. We didn't bring it in February. We wanted time for the administrators to meet and talk to people, and it impacted them. So those meetings were taking place at the end of last week. Right, there's some concerns
Yeah.
about that from
We
staff
didn't want the
as well.
first time for them to hear about it here.
Right, so that's why we waited, and, so the board has a couple options, right? The board can approve it, as is. The board could, make some adjustments to it, or the board could decide to table it and send it back to personnel and have conversations about it, either way. Regardless of if the board, approves it, doesn't mean that things can't be adjusted a little bit, like we adjust, the staff handbook. So if people, when they met with their building principal, had concerns, they were asked to, let the building principal know, and then they shared that information with myself, and Jason will look at that. Right, to think that we got every single one of those, all those perfectly right, you saw how long that is, right? That we're not arrogant enough to think that we get everything right? So we need to, have good feedback. Yeah, right, and look at it, and if there's anything that needs to be adjusted, we can adjust it at any time. But, so the board can ask questions or
Let me
discussion.
add, so there was the board meets 4 times a year with staff to go
Yep,
over stuff.
yep.
And I've been attending those meetings, and this came up in those meetings. And so there's information that I have that you are not privy to, you have not seen the information, and we miss,
You're holding out?
I would argue.
Holding out, Adam?
Huh?
You're holding out on us or what?
It just happened.
I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding.
I would argue we did miss a few things, and so I would like to send this back to committee to try to correct those issues and get it right the first time, or get it
You're
right the second
making a
time.
motion to table.
So
Yes.
I will make a motion to table and send this back to the Personnel Committee.
I'll second that.
All right, motion by Sarah Ramish, second by Terry. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. We will table it. All right, and then we have
Seesaw.
CISA 5.
Yeah, so it is that time of year when we renew our CISA 5 contract. So Ms. Schrader, Dr. Carls, and I have reviewed the annual contract with CISA and recommend approval. It is a slight increase from last year, about $940 more than last year. Just some things have gone up in price. The initial contract came and we tweaked some things, but got it down to that level. So we always take a really deep dive into that. And I meet with CISA and walk through that contract with them. So we recommend approval.
Is that what the red asterisks are on the right-hand side of the contract, on the amounts and stuff? There were a couple of them, like under vision and other.
Things that went up.
Yeah,
Could be.
okay.
So their services, it's projected, but if we don't use them,
Right, so if we don't use them, or the ones that have, the ones that have the red dots, they made changes to that.
Oh,
brought them
okay.
down. Yeah, so they're projected, right? So we could have a student move into our district at the beginning of the school year that needs a lot of services, right? So, and that we don't have. So like, when you're talking about CISA services, we're talking like, we don't have a teacher of are visually impaired. We don't have enough students for that. But we still have to provide that service, so
Yes, we do.
we contract through CISA to do that. Or audiology, or sign language, you know.
And what is Career and Technical Education Council?
Yeah, so we work with them with youth apprenticeships,
Yeah.
and things like that, so they help us with the facilitation of that. So Joel Mitham comes down, meets with Connor Anderson,
Which is
and
a
helps
great program.
facilitate
Yeah.
that process, yes.
Yes. And thank goodness for CISAs for schools.
So being on the CISA board, and we talk about these kind of things and go over these things with the other schools, and we use almost no
we use
CISA
very little.
services.
I was gonna say, there's a lot of zeros on here, which is
Yeah.
impressive.
There
A
are
lot of other schools do.
But
a
it's
lot of
nice to
other
have that
schools
option.
Have a very large CISA 5 budget and a large bill.
It just depends how big your school is and what you have. Like there,
Yeah.
if you don't have enough, like we have an occupational therapist, right? If you're small enough and you only need a couple days a week, then maybe you go through CISA. Or
Yeah.
like, we're big enough that we need one, so we
No,
hire one
it's-
ourselves.
Great service to have.
Yeah.
And pool resources.
They do, yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the CISA 5 contract as presented.
And I'll second that.
Motion by Sarah Ramish, second by Terry. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I'll recuse on that.
Okay. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 6-0. One recuse. And I keep losing where I am. Policy, we do not.
No,
Nothing.
no policies and no gifts and
And
donations
no
this month.
gifts. Which is actually very rare.
It is very rare.
Yeah.
I always feel like we're getting gifts and donations,
Yes.
which is awesome.
We're very fortunate.
So our committee reports, CISA 5.
We met mostly in closed session last month to go over healthcare increases, salary increases, bringing people up to comps and things like that. And so there's not a lot of that I can talk about.
Sounds really fun, too.
Doesn't
that
that
sound
Sound really,
You get to do that in two different places.
Yeah.
I
was
get to
gonna
do double
say.
duty, yes.
Co-curricular?
Okay, so March of 2026, girls wrestling. The girls wrestling team competed in regionals on Friday, February 13th at the Wanakee High School. Yalen Kampa finished the meet in 4th place, and Zoe Licht finished in
Jalen.
2nd.
Jalen.
Jalen Kampa, my apologies. Boys wrestling. The boys wrestling team competed in sectionals on Saturday, February 14th. Briar Caves placed first and Alex Breinig placed second, with both wrestlers advancing to the individual state tournament. On Saturday, February 21st, Lodi hosted team sectionals. Lodi won their first round against Stoughton by a score of 40-33 and fell to eventual team state champion Evansville. I can't talk tonight. Evansville by a score of 52-20 in round 2. Lodi lost their third duel of the day to Mount Horror by a score of 50-29. At the individual state championship, Briar Caves took home 3rd place at 126 pounds. Boys basketball. The boys basketball team finished the regular season with an overall record of 15-9 and a conference record of 4-6. The team earned a number 7 seed in the WIAA tournament. They opened tournament play at home against number 10 Wisconsin Dells, coming away with a 76-66 win. This past Friday night, the team traveled to face number 2 Aquinas and came away with a 54-52 win. The season came to an end in the regional championship against number 6 Platteville, with the Blue Devils losing 72-61. Boys hockey. The Navigators co-op hockey team finished the regular season with a record of 6-18 and a conference record of 3-9. They earned a number 12 seed in the WIAA tournament. Their season came to a close in the first round of playoffs, losing to number 5 Onalaska by a score of 12-0. Girls basketball. The girls basketball team finished the regular season with an overall record of 7-17 and a conference record of 3-7. The team earned a number 10 seed in the WIAA tournament. They opened tournament play on Tuesday, February 24th against number 7 Adams Friendship, with Lodi coming away with a 64-57 win. The season came to an end on Friday, February 27th, with Lodi losing number 2 to Wisconsin Dells by a score of 63-37. Powerlifting. This past weekend, Trenton Schlendler and Marin Daly participated in the state powerlifting competition. Marin placed 14th and had a personal record for bench and deadlift. Trenton placed 22nd and also had personal records for bench and deadlift. Both students have qualified for powerlifting nationals. Mock trial. This past weekend, the Lodi mock trial team competed in the state mock trial tournament. The team finished the tournament with a 1-3 record. Lydia McGrath, Jade Dolmes, and Harrison Kieski each earned a perfect score of 10. Henry Homuth, Keely Bonick, and James Walsh each earned 2 perfect scores, and Juniper Schmidt earned 3 perfect scores. And finally, forensics. On Saturday, February 21st, the forensics team hosted the Lodi tournament, with Juniper Schmidt ending the day as a tournament champion in expository. The entire team has qualified for the district tournament in a few weeks. This past weekend, the team competed in the Val Phillips Memorial Tournament, ending the day as small teams champions. Jalen Brynick finished the day as the tournament champion in storytelling. Lots happening.
Thank you.
Sure.
OSC.
Okay, so, OSC met on February 18th and talked about, the lottery that will be coming up. And when is the lottery? Eric, I didn't write that down.
The 18th.
The 18th of March, okay.
Enrollment closes this Sunday, the 16th.
Okay, so for people who had wanted to get into the lottery for their students to get into OSC. And so that is a biggie right there for people who are thinking about that. And there had been some open houses and things for people to find out about OSC and more. So, OSC changed from doing their musical to doing trivia night, and we had talked about trivia before. They did very well with trivia night. They were happy with it. Many volunteers, many. I mean, it was really nice to see, again, the families that showed up that are helpful and the volunteers in the community. Just made it a great night. Yeah, it was, even though we didn't win. It still was.
My team scored higher than yours.
Anyway, you can just keep that. You can just keep that. We overthunk a few things, that's what happened. All right, so that was great. Anyway, and then, the other thing that I wanna talk about is May 7th is project night. And this year it is the trail through the eyes of a student. So again, a lot of the outside, that they will be doing a lot of Ice Age things.
You said
and-
May 7th?
May 7th, yes.
Okay.
So that should be a lot of fun. And then the kindness calendar, as Eric was talking about for the whole, elementary school made a huge difference, and everybody really noticed a difference in behavioral reports went way down for February, which February is all those years of school nursing, it was like February, oh my gosh, I should have just kept the count of who was in the office more, because they were showing up. February's tough. And I don't have anything else, that's it. Oh, talked about magnetic literacy is doing well, being piloted. Let's see, so that's it.
Okay, thank you. Curriculum.
That is me again. All right, here we go. So, curriculum. So we met on February 25th. We had several people come to give updates. The first one was the K-12 Science Department update. Middle school science teacher Michelle Howe came in, gave us an update on the various schools in the district. For K-5 science, they're currently using Mystery Science, which is an inquiry-based curriculum. Teachers appreciate the new curriculum kits provided by the budget, which ensure all necessary materials such as straws and string are readily available for all experiments. At the middle school level, they're in their 3rd year of using something called Open Sci-Ed, and that implementation. 8th grade forward scores are trending upward and are above the state average. PLC time is being used every 3 weeks to focus on scientific and engineering practices, specifically developing models and data interpretation. At the high school level, they have 8th through 12th, so 8th into high school. The department is discussing a, quote, consumer chemistry or chemistry in the real world class for students who might want to focus on functional everyday chemistry applications. We had kind of a fun time discussing that at our meeting and what that could mean, like if it's cooking, learning about the science behind cooking and how that could be a way to,
And why not to put bleach and ammonia together and
well,
things
there you
like
go, yeah, that's, yeah, safety as well, safety and science, okay. Michelle noted that middle school, is tight for 50-minute open sci-ed lessons and that K-5 could always use more minutes for science. And the board was also reminded that some core instruction minutes were previously reallocated to support STEM programming. The next report we had was the 4K through 12 STEAM department report with Tyler Potter. Currently, the different schools, the STEAM programs are being facilitated through Matthew Horan, and K through 2. Tyler Potter is 3rd through 5th. Mark Shira is at the middle school, and rotating facilitators are working at the high school. There's a curriculum change. The high school is moving away from the creative learning systems, which was purchased curriculum due to rising costs and quality concerns. They are building a, quote, homegrown curriculum that utilizes Google Sites, Google Classroom, and the AI application Brisk. And I recall Tyler mentioning they're about 50% done with that project, so that's pretty exciting. Next update we had was the School Forest Committee, and Leo Olson came to give us that update. So during Earth Week, which is April 21st through 25th, there will be a program where every single student ages 4K through 12 will be able to plant a tree at the school forest. It's really exciting. He was able to acquire 2,000 trees for the Wisconsin DNR State Nursery, including bur oak, white oak, sycamore, red maple, and jack pine. So each of the kids, it sounds like quite an ordeal, quite an operation, I should say. Like every school is gonna bring kids out over different days for a certain number of hours and get their shovels out. And so UW Stevens Point's LEAF program is going to be there to make a video. They're gonna videotape this and then turn it into a video, so that's pretty exciting. The collaboration for this project is supported, of course, by the DNR, the UW Stevens Point LEAF program, the Ice Age Trail Alliance, and the Baraboo Range Preservation Association. There is a science club student who is designing a trailhead kiosk using grant funds. Reclaimed wood from the forest harvest has been milled into boards that will be used potentially for these, for benches for the school forest. Notably, a 1950s graduate who planted the original trees helped mill the boards. And I also heard from Teresa, was it you, Teresa, that you,
I think Terry did.
both of you guys planted trees in the original school forest?
Yeah.
That's very cool.
4-H.
Yeah, so it's like,
You know which
I
one?
was in
coming full
seventh,
circle.
7th grade science class, summer school.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's cool.
See, there's summer school.
Well, maybe if they have couple extras, maybe us board members can do
We
it.
could plant a tree.
There is a
There is
community,
extras.
that Saturday, there will be a community event, so community members can go out and,
What
Good.
what
Saturday?
the Saturday that week.
The 25th.
Is that the
25th.
Of April?
Yeah, whatever that would be.
Yay, that'd be fun.
So,
But if we all show up, we'd have to kind of,
Bring your own
Emily's not
shovel.
available that day, she's at State Solo Ensemble that day,
Finn said no to you.
so future
competing in a lot of events.
future goals for the School Forest Committee are, the committee aims for a formal scope and sequence where every student will receive at least one lesson at the forest annually. A statewide school forest centennial celebration is being planned for the 2027-2028 school year, so I'm sure we'll get more updates about that. The next update came through the math department. It was for K through 5 math curriculum. Some background is that the district has used a version of everyday math for nearly 30 years. However, data has showed a decline in scores starting pre-COVID, leading to a review of more modern, highly rated programs. After a vendor fair and Q&A sessions with other districts, the committee has narrowed its focus to Ready Math. Nick Carls presented survey results from grade level teams regarding feedback about a possible pilot. The administration is balancing teacher voice with the need for a consistent experience across the district to avoid family confusion. Data trends, recent scores are trending upward again after the district reinforced everyday math core components and added a math fact fluency component. Next steps, a formal recommendation regarding pilot parameters, professional development schedules, and costs will be brought to the committee in April. Future agenda items for our next meeting, which is scheduled on April 1st, is K through 2 literacy feedback from pilot participants, textbook adoption requests, and advanced learner updates.
Wow, you guys are
There you
busy.
have it.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Busy
We don't
meeting.
just sit on our,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Sit on our thumbs. Facility and finance.
We met last Tuesday, we went over the school perception survey, which we just went over again. we had a discussion about school fees, which have not been raised or changed in quite some time. And so we sent that back to administration to go look at what the other schools are charging and to see if we needed to change any of ours. So we'll be seeing that in the next month or so, or 2 months, whatever it takes. And then we always have referendum on our agenda. And we didn't talk a lot about that under that item, but that's all we talked about.
Well, awesome, thank you.
Yep.
And policy did not meet since the last board
We
meeting.
did
No.
nothing.
Personnel, no.
We hold space.
Neither do you have personnel.
Did I skip you? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, I skipped you way back, sorry. Personnel.
It's all right. Trying to learn
I
how
was
to use
just,
my new
I was giving you
glasses.
time
It's
to
not
get
really
prepped.
working
I was giving you time to get prepped, Teresa.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm
All right,
there for you.
so we had some public input. Carly Zick, the OSC advisor, talked to the committee, advocating for the board to provide increases in compensation and health insurance for our staff. Jill Whale was also, were several present, but those are two that spoke. In support of increased district contributions to health insurance premiums. We had quite the discussion on health insurance with Adam helping out there and Jason, which is still very complicated, but they really wanting to make sure that we keep in mind whatever we may give them for a raise, how does that affect the offsetting of the health insurance, which we expect to rise immensely. So I understand where they're coming from. If we give them a raise and they're still in the negative after they pay their health insurance, it's not that helpful. So we did talk about that. We talked about different plans. We didn't have any numbers yet, so now more of the numbers are in with that 11.9% increase, which was in the ballpark of what you were projecting, right? Possibly even more. We also approved, which I'm not sure why we have to approve, the recommendation for the $1,000 increase, which was in our consent agenda.
To the base wage.
Base wage.
Base wage.
Referendum.
Yeah, from the referendum, exactly. We talked about the 3% increase across the board. Potential changes, so the contribution method for the high deductible compared to like the regular family plan, and possibly changes to how the school pays or gives money or puts money into those high deductible accounts, which we're gonna be talking a lot more about the health insurance when we have more information on it. And then the next meeting is April 7th, 2026. I think that was all we had. Everybody's been so busy, and I did not mean to skip you, I'm sorry. Like I said, I knew you needed more time to prep, so that's why I did it. Our next regular school board meeting will be Monday, April 13th at 5:30. Closed session, 6:30 open session. Curriculum committee is Wednesday, April 1st at 4:30. Policy will be Wednesday, April 1st at 6 o'clock. Personnel will be Tuesday, April 7th at 4:30, and facility and finance will be Tuesday, April 7th at 6 o'clock. And always check our website, because sometimes those things get changed, but, and I do not believe anyone, we don't need to go back and close, right? Does anyone have any more questions about what we talked about?
Will we have
Okay.
a policy?
Yes.
Okay.
And so no closed, we are already in open.
Oh, and elections are April 7th.
Yeah,
Show up at your
for our next
elections.
board meeting.
Before the next board meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay?
Motion by Adam, second by Sarah Ramish. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0.